economic calendar. Today being Thursday, we have had some news already, and we've seen the Aussie numbers being released with a bit of a mixed result, quite a big difference in terms of employment change there. But the focus today being the yen pairs will be driven by how the US yen performs. And if the US yen is going to move, it's going to be dependent on how the US dollar, because you can see that over the next couple of days, not a lot of yen news or no yen news at all. The US dollar retail sales data month on month looking to go from a minus 1.1 to a minus 0.8%. Jobless claims going from 310 to 330, not a big change here. Core retail sales numbers going from minus 0.4 to a minus 0.1%. So for tonight, looking like the retail sales numbers might show some recovery, which could drive the US yen a little bit higher as we see a stronger dollar being applied because of this news. Following on from that, on Friday, we do have we've spoken about the pound, we've spoken about the euro. We do have some US consumer sentiment numbers to be released, and it was 70.3, expected to be a 72. So with that, again, I don't think this is going to be moving prices too much for two reasons. One, consumer sentiment has been quite strong, and for it being on a Friday night or a Friday in the US as well, we're not going to see a lot of positions being taken up because of this news. So I think that this might be a bit of a non-event. But as we look at the yen pairs and it's being end of the week, towards the end of the week, what could happen next week? Looking at the yen pairs in particular, on Monday next week, not a lot of news happening. On Tuesday next week, you have a lot of US building permits numbers to be released. And building permits looking to go from 1630 to 1600. Looks like not a big change there. On Wednesday, we have existing home sales. Look at this on Thursday next week. We do have the FOMC projections, rate decision, and press conference. At this point right now, what I think is going to happen is not a big not a big news, probably no big changes to be released at this point, but this could change towards next week as the markets set up for this news. So pay a bit of attention there. If you're going to enter any trades for the yen pairs, definitely want to close out before Thursday at 0200 hours Thursday morning. Following on from that, not a lot of other news. We've got pound, I'll tell you about that next week, and then US news. So what you should see here is that when we look at the charts on the US yen pairs, there's not a lot of news to drive prices at this point. Not a lot of news to drive prices at this point. So for the US yen on the H4 time frame, what I'm anticipating is that at this point, we could see it move similar to what it did in 4 weeks ago. Similar level at 109.20 now. Possibly could bounce back up as what it did 4 weeks ago. So I think that at this point, we might see it slowly move back up towards 109.76. Is this a trading opportunity? This is about 40 pips towards the upside. I think that it might be a little bit tight, but for those of you who are ready to manage this trade a little bit more, then you could be looking for buying opportunities above 109.33. Above 109.33, a very tight stop loss at about 20 pips. You could have a take profit at about 40 pips. You're still looking at a 1:2 risk reward ratio towards the upside. But bear in mind for the US yen here, it is sitting right in the middle of a support and a resistance level. So I'm not very happy to have a 20 pip stop loss. This might be a scenario where we are forcing the trades out a little bit. Reason why is that there is no big push towards that 109.76 level. This is only going to be if you can manage closely on this trade. What I do prefer is if we could be looking at the euro yen. Euro yen sitting at this 129.13 level. You have both that upside and also that downside potential. Both the upside and downside potential because it is sitting at this 129.13 level. But it's not going to be good enough to, say you can buy or you can sell. What's more likely to happen at this point, we have to refer to the euro dollar. So looking at the euro dollar, sitting right in the middle there, we do have, some news to be released next week for the euro dollar, and also we do have some news to be released later this week as well. Let me just do a quick reference. We do have the CPI number to be released for the Eurozone on Friday, right? We do have the Eurozone CPI numbers to be released on Friday. I'll show you here, where Eurozone numbers year on year looking to stay at 3%. CPI for month on month looking to go from a minus 0.1 to a 0.4%. So looking like inflationary numbers might firm up in this case. And if that does happen, then jumping back to the euro dollar, same as our analysis on Tuesday, I think that we might see that upside. So if we see the upside on that with the euro yen, I think that you could be looking for buying opportunities above 129.35. So above 129.35, a 30 pip stop loss for a good 90 pip take profit level, a 1:3 risk reward ratio towards the upside, back up towards that 130.44 resistance level. If it does break below, you can sell, but I think that as a higher likelihood trade, I could be looking for that move towards the upside. If the CPI number does disappoint, then you can see it dropping down. You could be looking at a 128.97. Again, 30 pip stop loss for a good 90 pip take profit level. You have both that up and downside for 1:3 risk reward ratio. Some of you who are familiar with what I've taught you before about the straddle, you could even be setting a buying order and a selling order just to take advantage of that possible move on the euro dollar, and then hence the euro yen to move up or down from this 129.13 support level. With that said, looking at the pound yen, same thing. It's sitting just slightly below 151.38. I'm not too keen on buying this up. I think that it feels like it's been a bit toppish after it's rejected these levels. I think that I'm looking for a move up to test this 151.38 before tracking lower again. I'm not sure that it will drop to 149.39, but you could be looking for selling opportunities at about below 151.13, 40-50 pip stop loss, 150 pip take profit level. Again, a 1:3 risk reward ratio there. What you notice here is that I've been giving you a lot of numbers, I've been giving you a lot of trigger levels, but all these would depend on quite specific levels that needs to break, close below that point before you jump into a trade. So a lot of patience needed for this few trades, especially on the yen pairs. With that said, lucky last, looking at gold. Last I spoke about it, I said that it will come down, test 1777 before bouncing back up. I think that this will still happen. I'm still looking for buying opportunities, but I think that, oops, wrong one. I think that it will take a little bit longer. It might only happen next week during the FOMC, or even after the FOMC. We might see some move towards reserve which could mean that we could see gold moving up towards that 1850 level, 1845 level. So again, for gold, I wouldn't be looking for any trading opportunities at this point. I'll be looking to buy and hold towards the upside. With all that said, a lot of trade ideas, a lot of possibilities. Please make sure you're patient with the setups, and then I'll pass it back to you, Scott.